Hey, Common Sense Outdoorsman here. I'm back up at my lean-to shelter. It's last week of February, and the bad news is someone did find the shelter a couple of days ago. I was up here in the snow, and there was some footprints, and they just walked by it. Like I said before, there's so many of these shelters that people build in these Colorado mountaintops that nobody really gives them a second thought. So somebody and his dog, and they just walked by, didn't even really go towards the shelter. But let's go take a look, and I'll show you where I'm at. I'm going to flip this viewer around, and we'll take you to the shelter. Excuse the sun is low this time of year if it gets in your way, but so I've just worked on it a few more hours. I started to build this sidewall here. The only cheat I've used so far, besides just using downfalls and deadfalls, is I had to use some bank line, and I just I wanted to put these poles in to hold this sidewall, and of course I couldn't pound them in the ground. They wouldn't go. They're hitting roots. So I had to tie those off. And you know, I did put up some support posts here and tying those off. This is the center support post, and I just notched that. There's a lot of pressure on that. That seems to be doing good right now. And I've got a support post on this side. I have to still tie that one off. But yeah, the cheat I may use, I may have to put one of those brown tarps on there to keep the weather out if the debris doesn't do it, but I'm going to try debris. This is how I'm going to try to keep it warm. I'm going to have it, of course, it'll be walled in about 4 feet high here. And then on this side, I'll probably totally wall that in, just put a lean-to type structure on that side. And most of the front side here will be blocked off, but I'm going to try to use this little camp stove I got to keep it warm. I built this little rock wall, and to reflect the heat in there, I'll probably build that a little bit bigger. And if I have to, I'll put a Mylar survival blanket on that back wall to reflect heat. And I can even fly a tarp in the front here, fly it down this way to reflect heat back into the shelter. So that's what I got so far. Let me take you inside. I want to show you this camp stove and how I'm going to use that to heat up this shelter. I got this one on eBay. You can, they're on eBay, they're on Amazon, and they're made by all different Chinese companies. I think the main one seems to be a company called Redcamp, R-E-D-C-A-M-P. And I got this one on eBay for 33 bucks, but they run about there. And they come in a small and a large. This is the large one. And they say it's supposed to weigh 5 pounds. I think that may include the carrying case and the box it came in. Here's the carrying case. It folds up, and I'll show you that in a minute. But it doesn't seem like it weighs that much. I'd say it's about 3.5 to maybe 4 pounds. But so the setup I got here is I have it in like a cake pan. You can see that cake pan at the bottom, and that's to catch all the coals. This is Colorado. I came from Virginia. It's not like Virginia. In Virginia, you know, on a cold night, if you were sleeping out, I'd just make a nice long fire, maybe 4 to 5 feet long. And that and a tarp, or not even a tarp, just sleep next to a long fire. Just put logs on both ends, or trees. You don't even have to buck wood. You don't have to split wood. Usually I get up every hour and a half or so, and I just drag the trees in there, keep the fire going, and that is enough to keep you toasty all night long. And the humidity and moisture there in Virginia and the rain, there's not really, the fires just, it's very difficult for them to get out of control, so you can make a nice big fire. Here in Colorado, different story. The embers get away from you here, you're gonna have you can have a mess on your hands, and I've seen that happen in my short time here so far. So that's not a good thing. So I've got this cake pan here. I got it at a thrift store. Just paid a couple of bucks for it, so I put it in the cake pan. And this stove does fold up, and it goes in that container. But let me set up the tripod here, and that way I can show you how it works. Let's see if I can get this set up. There we go. I think that's good. But so the good thing about this, it folds up. There's a grate in there, and you just pull the grate up, and then it'll fold up like that. Put the attachments on the inside. That goes in the bag, no problem. Set it up. You just push the grate down. Lock it in there, put it in my cake pan. This is a damper that goes on the bottom, or they call it an ashtray. And it can dampen the flames. It won't let it get as much air, and it'll burn a lot slower, and hopefully it'll burn a lot longer, and it'll be able to keep me warm while I'm here. But I'm not going to use that today. I'm just going to put that aside. It comes with a grill top, which is nice. You can do your cooking. Comes with a place. If you're cooking, you can add some wood with this hatch here. Just latches and opens and closes. So yeah, this is the large one. And I'm going to get it fired up here, see how it works out. And I'm just going to use some pine needles and some pine cones and some dried sticks. Fill it up with this stuff, and it should be easy enough to light. I'll make some shavings, throw some shavings in there. Today is that's right at about freezing, about 31 or 32 degrees. The wind's blowing, so if you hear a lot of wind, sorry about that. Throw some pine cones in there. Make some shavings. You don't have to keep your shavings on the stick and make a beautiful feather stick. I know it looks nice and all, but the key to this is that you just get small pieces of wood shavings to get your fire started. And this is just a dried out, almost petrified piece of aspen. And these curls come off of here pretty nice. Couple of knots in there. It's all right. Just work around them. Oh, by the way, this is the knife I'm using. This is the CRKT Hammond Cruiser. I really like this for a folder, for working outside. Let's see if I can get it in there for you. Nice big thick handle. It has a lock on there to lock the liner lock. I love that blade shape. It's really good for some bushcraft work. But that's the knife I'm using. Making great curls. If you had a bandana, or if you wanted to, you could put your hat down. If you needed to catch your shavings, to catch them to use them for your fire, that works, or a tarp. But we're just going to do this right into the stove so we can get it done as quick as possible. Yeah, this makes fantastic curls. That should be enough. I'm gonna pick up some of my flyers. Look at that. Nice. Get this to close. Pile these in there. Oh yeah, that one. Nice. Hate to let a good curl go to waste. I should do it. This stove, let's see, the Condor Hudson Bay, the blade on this knife is 8.5 inches long, so the stove is, I'll say, about maybe a little more than 10 inches tall. Maybe an inch, 8.25 inch wide. And about the same deep, about 8.25 inches, I'd say, deep. So that's the size of the stove. All right, let's see if we can get it lighted. I'm going to use an ancient method of fire starting. I learned this when I was a kid. See if we can get this going with just one of these devices. See what happens. I think it's going to work. Another thing, stuff burns real easy here in Colorado. The only problem you may have is getting a flame to begin with, because at 9,000 feet there is a lack of oxygen. But looks like that one is going pretty good. So my plan is, if I stay here overnight, I'll use bigger chunks of wood like this maybe split them in half, but use bigger chunks and pack them in there, maybe like make an upside down type of fire, start it, and put the ashtray in the bottom and dampen it up as much as possible so that it'll burn slow and last as long as possible. And then through the night, all I have to do is I'll have the cooktop off and I can just throw pieces in there. I have this cake pan set up on a couple of flat rocks, that way I can move it around, and I'm going to test it. So it's kind of portable. One, it's safe, it'll catch the coals and the embers, I won't set the woods on fire, and I'll be able to move it around in the shelter and find the best place for it according to the wind. It's getting warm. Back up a little bit. Find out where the best spot in the shelter is. I don't want to have a big fire today because it's awfully windy. I don't want to chance it. Now this stuff, the stove, my chair, the cake pan, some cook pots and stuff, I have cached about 75 yards away from my camp here. That way I don't have to carry them back and forth, and when someone comes by and sees my shelter, I don't want them to see a fiery mess here. I want it to look natural and as clean as possible. Wow. Yep. That really throws some flame. Back up. Wow, I like it. And then as time goes on in the evening, if I needed to open this door, I could open this up. Which of course doesn't want to open right now, but that's okay. That is hot. Wow, that gives off a lot of heat. A lot of heat. I'd say it's a success. What do you think? That is toasty. Very nice. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good day. Common Sense Outdoorsman. We'll talk to you later. Bye.